Hey, Garen, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
And I'm doing great. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time just to spend here with me. There's a lot of people who in their business, they know that they need help and they want to go to the next level. And sometimes they don't even think about, or maybe they don't even know what coaching is. So from time to time, I just like to interview clients and ask them a few questions, types of questions that people might be thinking about, and just get your honest feedback. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Cool, man. So, first of all, Garen, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Garen Griffin. I started a company, Griffin Contracting, 5 years ago. Became a general contractor focusing on interior renovations, remodeling, um, bathroom, kitchen remodeling, a lot of moving parts. Just really hit the ground running.
That's awesome, man. So, what, when we first met, I'm trying to think back. Maybe you can share what were some of the things that you were thinking? What was going on in your business that made you just open-minded to a coach?
Well, I was very disorganized and a lot of uncertainty. I felt like I was running my business how I wanted it to, but didn't think it was the most efficient way. And I knew it wasn't the most efficient way, but I didn't have anybody to guide me into a position that I wanted to ultimately be. It was a lot of trial and error and not a lot of bouncing off somebody who could give me some honest feedback. And that wasn't competition or somebody who just didn't know the industry. So I felt that, hey, it was time to, find a business coach that would help guide me to a position that I would want to be in.
Yeah, that I really appreciate that. That's where a lot of business owners find themselves is they know that they want to go to the next level, but where do you find somebody to help you out with that? And then fortunately, we have a common acquaintance and an accountant who was able to refer you. So uh, uh, that really helped out a lot. And the thing I'd add is your business was successful before you reached out. You were just wanting to take it to the next level. So let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what's your experience been? What are some of maybe the biggest benefits, tangible benefits, if you were thinking about your top two, three things that you've gotten out of us working together so far?
I feel like the top one was peace. Um, I knew that I could go to bed at night with a lot quieter mind. Does my mind still run? Of course, and it always will. However,
Welcome to
I
the
feel
world of
like
owning
I'm
a
able.
business.
Exactly, that's the benefit, right?
That's right.
um, but I feel like there's a level of I got this. I'm more control that I have before, where it's like I'm now proactive instead of reactive. I'm not putting out fires. I'm going ahead and extinguishing them, and embracing each day and each opportunity with a more positive outlook rather than what's going to come. A lot of stress, anxiety, where it's almost good stress. I'm embracing the stress and embracing the positives of owning a business rather than
Yeah.
you know let me keep this together. So that's the biggest impact that I've seen.
That's really huge. When you're business owners, we tend to be lone wolves. And if we don't take time, if there's no one reminding us of what's going well and helping us see the positives and the improvement we're making, we're going to all focus on the things that we're not doing right, right? So
For
yeah,
sure.
that's really important. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, what types of results have you seen? So in your business, in terms of growth, how has this helped you so far, in addition to what you mentioned just a minute ago?
Well, I looked at the numbers and I've seen about a 40% growth in my company. But I think it's more than that because when I started, I've been growing every year, but not feeling like I've been growing every year. How many times do you get a balance sheet or your P&Ls and it doesn't, your bank account doesn't reflect it, and you get aggravated and frustrated that, hey, what's going on? Like I'm growing, but where's the money?
Right.
And ever since January when we first started, I implemented some items and my balance sheet, yes, my business is growing up, but I'm actually feeling it.
Right.
It's not one of those accountants calling me and saying, "Hey, guess what? You had a good month," and I'm looking on the bank account like, "Where's the money at?" So I think that in itself has really just skyrocketed my motivation and my positive outlook on my company, and actually being able to see growth. And even just going back to the piece, that itself, not even just the monetary aspect of it, but the outlook of my company and my future. That's really been a strong growth for our company, even the last 6 months.
Yeah, and your growth as an executive, as a CEO, business owner, has really been phenomenal. I mean, we started off with your personal and business goals, making sure those two are in alignment, and making sure that we build this business so that it really creates the personal outcome that you want. Newly married, new home, and things like that. Because if you build a great business, but in the process you lose the personal or your health, that's not a win. So we're only about win-wins, and you've done a phenomenal job, just as we've gone through this, implementing changes on how you present your business to clients, the type of jobs that you take, the way that you collect money, the way that you manage subcontractors and people, just your communication you've really started to take that to an even another level. So I know that's really had a big input or impact on your business. And those are all things that you're doing. So we'll keep knocking, chipping away at the list of things that keep taking you to the next level. But you're really off to a great start in just a few months. Let's see. I guess the only other question I'd ask you is, well, two more actually. So is there anything that you've gotten out of coaching that you didn't expect? You would expect the X's and O's and the dollars and cents and the planning and the accountability. But is there anything that you've gotten out of it that you didn't expect that you might share?
When I first started, everybody has an impression of a business coach. It's they're going to just sit down and tell you everything you're doing wrong and everything. Here's how you're going to do it. But I feel like you've actually heard what I had to say, and you're actually really trying to dissect my company, rather than here's just a generic list of what you need to do. And that really has made all the difference in the world, because I was afraid that, hey, when I get into this, it's going to be, here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what you need to do. And of course there is aspects of that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's coming with a game plan together to actually implement it. And it's not I don't feel intimidated. I don't feel, hey, I feel like you're actually on my side. So,
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because that's the difference between coaching and consulting, right? Is a coach
correct.
walks through with you, and a smart coach, if you think about athletics, their players sometimes can see what's going on the field, right? And
Sure.
that's exactly what our role is I'm like your very, very fractional assistant CEO or board of directors. I'm with you on this. So now I really appreciate you bringing that up, because my job isn't to come in and tell you how to run your company. I heard this quote many years ago. My job is to see you through, not to see through you. I'm not trying to find your mistakes. I'm trying to find what you're doing well and build on it. So you've
Sure.
done a great job of taking that. I guess the last thing I'd ask is, if someone's thinking about hiring a coach, what advice would you give them? For
If
me,
you are looking at hiring a coach, I would strongly recommend going with an open mind. Um, there's a reason you're looking for a coach. Um, and I'm not saying that your business is not working, you're not profitable, but maybe you just need just some things critiqued or some things adjusted. And definitely going in with an open mind will help the transition easier. Hearing what Mike has to say, what you have to say. That's been all the difference in the world, because sometimes I know what we need to do as a company, but just to hear somebody actually say, hey, this is what you need to do, and get confirmation that's what you need to do, it's definitely worth it. Will you see the results overnight? Of course not, but relatively quickly. I was extremely, extremely pleased and surprised with how quickly I saw the results. like I said, not even on a monetary basis, but being able to go to bed at night and just
Yeah.
feel like I had control of my company. And that
Yeah.
was huge, because that meant I could say, hey, let's dive into it. I'm excited to go to work in the morning. I'm excited for Mondays to come because I get to start fresh, and where I didn't have that before. So if you're wanting to hire a business coach, I definitely would suggest. And of course, Mike, you've been awesome. I can't recommend you enough. And I'm excited to see what the next year and a couple of years, and see where we're at from there. So
Yeah. You're going to do great things. I have great confidence in that. So, well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time just to share a little bit about your experience with folks who, might be on the fence, because it really helps to hear from you more than me. So again, I appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to talking with you soon.
sounds good.